Did you know that Wealthbox just pushed out a huge update for their workflows? In our video today, we're going to be reviewing how you can utilize those new features in your workflows, how to introduce your team to these subtasks, and give you a real-life example as to how you can start utilizing those subtasks within your Wealthbox at your financial advisory firm. Hi, my name is Matthew. I'm with Advisor Tech Partners, and we work with RIAs, financial advisors that have struggling issues with building out processes, workflows, and automations. If this sounds like you, please feel free to subscribe and also like our video as we share a lot of content just like this on our YouTube channel weekly. So in our video today, we are going to be going to the workflow functions area in our Wealthbox CRM. So on the left hand side, if you go ahead and click on workflows, you'll be brought to this page here for your workflow templates. Now, your firm may have already started utilizing workflows. Maybe you're a little skittish and maybe you've actually tried and haven't had any successful attempts. So to start off, I'm going to go ahead and click on the top right hand green button, add template. This is going to allow you to create any new workflows at your firm. So in our case, I'm going to go ahead and I want to create a prospecting intro meeting workflow for our firm. So I'll go ahead and put prospecting. And then since this is typically the first meeting that a prospect will meet with us, I'm going to go ahead and start numbering them just so not myself, but the whole team and maybe future team members will understand, hey, anytime we have a prospect in our pipeline, they should be taken through the intro meeting as our first step. So I'll go ahead and name that. And then towards the bottom here, we have the workflow is for. We'll make sure that this is for a contact specifically, that it is sequential, so it does have to follow step 1, step 2, step 3. And then lastly, I can put a quick description here as to what this workflow will be used for. So to give you an example, this prospecting workflow is designed to help us hit our pre and post steps for our introductory meetings. So once we got our description in there, I'll go ahead and start adding steps. So now that we have this function of being able to add subtasks within a workflow step, what I can do is, let's say I want to make this perfectly clear as to what my pre-steps are, or I can name this pre-meeting steps, and I'll go ahead and save that. And then maybe I have some post-meeting steps. Now we're running off the assumption that only one person has the responsibility for all the pre-steps, and maybe that same person or someone else at the firm has all of the steps that are going to be included in the post meeting. So if I want to say, hey, I as a financial advisor have a couple of subtasks that I need to get done before the meeting. So let's say I like to do a social media check. So check on the prospects' social media channels. And in the description, you could be a little bit more descriptive with any information, like let's say you want to be able to check their LinkedIn because it's super relevant to the work that you're going to be doing. Maybe they have a Facebook just to get to know them a little bit better. And then lastly, if you want to follow up with any other social media checks, like maybe they have a personal website, you can definitely put that down below. So I'll go ahead, I listed those off, and then again, in our description, we want to be as clear as possible. So next, I'll go ahead, I'll set a due date here, and I'm going to want to set this due date as at least 2 weekdays before. So what I mean by that is 2 weekdays before the actual meeting happens. So I'll go ahead, add that. I don't need a specific time because I can do this anytime, 2 days before. And I'll go ahead and I will assign this to the role of the lead advisor, since the lead advisor is going to be the one that is managing the relationship for this prospective client at our firm. And then lastly, I'll go ahead and put a priority on this. So let's say this is pretty important. It's a pre-step before a first interaction, first meeting with a prospect, so I'll make that a high priority. So I will now save that step, and now that you can see Within this pre-meeting step, I have the ability to add multiple different subtasks. So if I just want to make it abundantly clear, hey, this task and these tasks that are under the pre-meeting steps all have to be completed before I can actually get to the intro meeting. That's a great way to start really just utilizing these subtask functions in the workflows in Wealthbox. Or another subtask that you may want to put is maybe you have some sort of action item before your meeting happens through your scheduler that asks the prospective clients for any financial documents, maybe a little bit of background. Maybe you even send a precise FP intake form. So that can definitely strengthen the relationship even before you make a first interaction. So we'll go ahead here and let's say in our example, we get a precise FP intake form sent out before the meeting. So precise FP, review the intake form sent to the prospective client. So went ahead, I identified in precise FP and what platform we're actually referencing to, and I put a little bit of a description here just so it gives anyone on the team just that little nudge and little like preemptive, oh, okay, this is what I need to do by when. So by when, again, we're going to go ahead and put 2 weekdays before, and then we will go ahead and make sure that that is assigned again to the lead advisor as they're going to be managing the relationship. And then lastly, I'll put this as a high ticketed item because all this information should be extremely relevant. And then here in our description, you can put your SOP as to how you review the form, what information you're looking for specifically. Like if you were looking for what answers did they provide on questions 5 through 10. Check the questions below. So below we could actually start listing out all the little specific pieces of information we need to make sure we review before the meeting. So I'll go ahead and in our example, we could just say review question number 1. And you know what? Question number 1 could be, do you currently take Social Security? But just to give you a general idea as to how you can be utilizing the description with these subtasks. So we'll go ahead, click on save, and then finally, I'm going to go ahead and build out an outcome. So our outcome is going to be complete. Pre-meeting steps are done. And I will say that the outcome here is going to be going to our next step, which is the post-meeting steps. So just keeping it brief, keeping it light. And then lastly here, we'll just click out of this. And now we're going to move on to the post-meeting steps. And we'll give you at least one example here on how you could be leveraging the subtasks within your post-meeting steps. Hey, if you made it this far in the video, we'd also invite you to get our free ebook, Mastering Strategies to Avoid the RIA Disaster. In that book, we provide a lot of valuable information, not just for RIAs, but for financial advisors that are looking to take their firm to the next step, really by leveraging systems, processes, and automations. All right, so we're back to the post-meeting steps where we are actually going to be creating just a scenario, and we'll give you one good example here as to how you can be leveraging the subtasks. So in our example, we'll go ahead and again click on that little subtask button. And what we will do is we're going to say we need to update the opportunities tab within Wealthbox. So the way that we would like that written out is by putting, again, the platform, and then if you can get a little bit more granular as to where specifically in the platform the update needs to be made, that is going to help set your firm up for success. So in here we have Wealthbox, opportunity, dash, and then we're going to put a light description, update the prospects, opportunity based on how the meeting went. All right, so now that we just got that in there, I'm going to go ahead and actually put this as, let's say, 0 days or 0 weekdays after the meeting has happened. So if I go ahead and look at whose responsibility this is, hey, in this scenario, maybe I have an associate advisor who actually joins in on all these meetings with me, and I want them to get some reps in, to get some really familiarity within my CRM. I'm going to assign that to them and make sure that they know, hey, after the meeting, we always have to go in and update our opportunities. So in, again, our description, this is our chance to build out that SOP. So go to the Opportunities tab in Wealthbox and update the prospects opportunity based on how the meeting went. And then we can give them a little bit more direction, saying below we have a couple of scenarios. So the first scenario could be interested in moving to a discovery meeting. So then our action step would be push the opportunity to the discovery meeting column. So we'll get that in there. And then maybe let's say our other outcome is prospect is not interested in moving forward. Maybe in this scenario just wasn't a good fit. We all get that from time to time, so we'll go ahead and give our associate advisor a little bit more of a description here. Push the opportunity to closed loss. Or you can just say loss if that makes sense for your firm. So we'll update it. And then again, the last step here, we just want to make sure we put a priority on this. Maybe this is something that can wait all the way till the end of the day, where we're just cleaning up tasks. So we can go ahead and put that as a low ticketed item. So once we got that in, again, that's our brief example as to how you could be leveraging these post-meeting steps and these post-meeting subtasks. And again, maybe you have some other ones as to sending up a follow-up email here. Maybe you have a little step that you need to actually get the notes into the CRM. Definitely a lot of laundry list things to do after a prospect and a client meeting as well. So the last step that I'm going to want to accomplish is I see that these steps, like the bigger steps in our workflows, aren't actually assigned to the correct due date. So this one says due 2 days after workflow start, which would mean if you have a prospect that schedules at least a month out, let's say today is, we have February 11th. If the prospect is scheduling for March 11th, you'll be assigned this task on February 13th, which we don't want. We want this to launch 2 days before that meeting. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and edit this specific step. And I will make sure that this happens 2 weekdays before. And you can put a time here. Let's say an appropriate time to get through workflow things are in the afternoon at your firm. So we'll set a target for 1 p.m. and then we'll press enter. And we should have that updated. And again, we'll go and do the same thing for the post-meeting steps. Post-meeting steps, we want it to happen exactly on the day right after a meeting. So go ahead and put 0 weekdays after. And then again, assuming that we take care of workflow steps for any prospects or client meetings in the afternoon, we will go ahead and put 1 p.m. We'll assign it here. So we have the, let's say, associate advisor is going to be in charge of this. That will be a medium task. And we'll make sure we'll categorize it, save it. And then we'll also do the same thing here. So we know the lead advisor is in charge before the meeting. Let's say this is a high ticketed item, especially before a prospecting meeting. Categorize that as a task. And then finally, again, go ahead, click that green Save Template button, and now you have your workflow completed. So what we ran through today is introducing you to the new feature that Wealthbox has just pushed out through their workflows called Subtasks, how you can start leveraging them, giving you some examples. The workflow today that we built isn't perfect, and we weren't trying to make it perfect. We're just trying to generate and give you that head start so you can start building out those workflows for your firm's success. Thanks for sticking to the end of the video here. Again, if you appreciate and you like the content that we push out, we appreciate the subscription to our YouTube channel, as well as a like on this video, as it tells the algorithm and it tells us that we're doing great work. If your firm is also facing any challenges like these with any workflows, building out processes, or maybe even trying to introduce automation, feel free to schedule an intro meeting with us below in our description.